Michael had a free lifestyle. He could just leave his pregnant wife alone and go on vacation. Besides, he was constantly cheating on her. The first time Alice found out about her husband's infidelity was at a gynecologist's appointment, when she discovered that she had a venereal disease, which, fortunately, was easily treatable. This, of course, offended and deeply insulted her. Despite Alice's many rebukes and even threats of revenge, Michael remained the same ruthless, self-centered guy who simply told his wife that no one would ever be with her because she was neither smart nor beautiful. Alice took it for granted and endured this humiliation since she was not educated and could not find a decent job to support her and divorce her husband. On the other hand, the woman did not want to return to her small hometown, so she was stranded and very dependent on Michael. One day Alice met Arthur and fell head over heels in love with him. The man treated her beautifully and respectfully, gave her flowers and gifts, read poems. In short, Alice felt loved and happy again. Meanwhile, Michael continued his lifestyle, leaving his wife and their 6-year-old son alone for a while. Arthur took advantage of this time and took Alice to his hometown to introduce her to his parents. After 2 weeks of perfect bliss, Arthur asked Alice to be his wife and she happily accepted. When Michael returned from his trip, he found a basket of flowers and a huge romantic card addressed to Alice. Michael became angry and demanded an explanation. Surprised at her own audacity, Alice said she was marrying Arthur and leaving for another city. She was taking only her son with her, leaving her husband the apartment, all the furniture and the car. Being not so proud, but with ambition and quite angry, Michael could have easily killed his stroppy wife, but he acted differently in this situation. Of course, Michael was so insulted and humiliated that he continued to yell and call his wife names. According to him, if a man cheated on his wife, it was quite normal, but if a woman did it, it was completely unacceptable. As a result, Alice could only say in her defense that she fell in love and decided to leave her husband. Michael realized that his wife's intentions were serious, as she actually had a solid relationship with another man. Unlike Michael with his many meaningless affairs, he started to convince his wife to reconcile and stay with him seriously. His main reason was that Alice already knew Michael well, and she was aware of all his weaknesses and failings, whereas Arthur was a pig in a poke, and if, for example, today he did something nice for her, the next day he might throw her out of the window or something. And perhaps he could have affairs with other women when Alice stops inspiring him to write poetry. Because Alice was not an educated woman, she had a lot of complicated feelings and low self-esteem, and she thought her husband might be right in that she didn't know Arthur well enough to leave her husband for him. Moreover, even though Michael was a scoundrel, he was her darling scoundrel. And who knew what she could expect from Arthur? In general, Alice did not have time to radically change her life and decided to stay with Michael. He, in turn, promised her that he would never cheat again and would never reproach his wife for her immoral behavior. Alice still doubted her husband's fidelity, but she never had that embarrassing sexually transmitted disease. Although Michael still insulted her by telling her that no man would ever be with her, Alice felt very guilty about deceiving her husband and causing him a lot of emotional stress. And after a while, Alice could talk openly about her affair, if you could call it that, because she had only had sex with Arthur a couple times and his talent for writing poetry was far better than his sexual ability. Although he was sweet and loving, the man did not possess a strong character and therefore could not truly satisfy a woman.